Manchester United beat Wolves 2-0 to take some absolutely crucial 3 points in the top 4 race this season. Look, I'm going to be completely honest here. Wolves were toothless yesterday. They never looked like they were going to score. And we as a team were never scared of them running in behind or anything like that. So this was really just about United taking their chances and getting the job done. And to our credit, we did just that. We got goals under the belt for Anthony Martial and Alejandro Garnacho, which is a huge positive that we'll have to discuss in this video, and we had good performances from several other United players like Lindelof, Varane, Shaw, Wan-Bissaka, Casemiro, and Antony. But there is one thing that nobody's talking about from a United perspective, and it's something that has led to United dropping 8 points from our last 5 games. Stay tuned till the end of the video to find out more about this. As always, please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy, and don't forget to turn on all notifications. Oh, and I almost forgot. I want to apologize to you guys for being radio silent over the past 2 weeks as I haven't uploaded any videos. I have a life update for you guys at the end of the video, so check that out if you are interested. So coming into this game, the biggest hurdle that Ten Hag had to deal with was the absence of Marcus Rashford due to injury. And yes, it's a huge injury that could single-handedly lead to us missing out on top 4 of the season because it's not really clear how long he'll be out for. But I'm honestly glad that he's getting a break because look at how much football this man has played this season. He's made 53 appearances for United in all competitions with just over 4,000 minutes. And believe it or not, he has 40 goal contributions with 29 goals and 11 assists. And these stats don't really capture the fact that United have been playing Thursday, Sunday, or Wednesday, Saturday for 4 to 5 months since the World Cup finished. And they don't even capture any of the international minutes for England that Rashford has played in the World Cup or in the Nations League. So yes, I am upset that Rashford picked up an injury and he might miss the rest of the season, but I'm even more upset that we're so reliant on 1 or 2 guys to get us over the line that we play them till they get injured. And I know that Bruno Fernandes is an alien that can play 100 games a season without getting injured, but would any of us really be surprised if he also picks up an injury by the end of the season? Anyways, we'll discuss this over-reliance on certain players later in the video. For now, let's talk about Ten Hag's tactics for this game. So United started in their usual 4-2-3-1 but played in a 3-3-1-3 in possession that looked like this. In this shape, you had Martial, Antony, and Sancho playing in the front 3 like they normally do, with Martial dropping deep occasionally to link up the play with Bruno or the midfield, and Sancho and Antony linking up with their respective fullbacks to make things happen in wide areas. Then you had Bruno back to his best role in the free number 10 position, where he's linking up in all areas across the front 3. In midfield, you had the 2 fullbacks in Shaw and Wan-Bissaka playing on the inside spaces next to Casemiro, and then you had Eriksen dropping from the midfield into the backline to play that quarterback role that he usually does. Now in this game specifically, we looked really good both offensively and defensively, which might be counterintuitive a little bit from what you saw on the pitch, but let me explain. Offensively, we created 21 chances as a team, with 14 of them coming from just Bruno, Sancho, Antony, and Lindelof. We took 27 shots with a combined 3.2 xG, which is one of our highest tallies this season, if not the highest. And these stats agree with what I saw on the pitch because we were creating a lot of chances and doing a lot of good things in the final third, but we weren't taking our chances, which is what's been the case for the rest of the season. And defensively, we held Wolves to only 5 shots with 0 big chances created for just 0.33 xG, which means the xG differential for United and Wolves was almost 3. And the biggest reason for this level of dominance was that Ten Hag had 7 of our 10 most influential outfield players starting that game in their preferred positions. And I'll explain what I mean by that, starting with Bruno Fernandes. Our captain fantastic, Bruno Fernandes, has been really pivotal to United this season. And before we go any further, I'm going to say it. He's our player of the season, hands down. This guy has put his hands up to do any role across the attack and the midfield whenever Ten Hag has asked for it. And without him, we look like an absolute Sunday League team in possession because nobody knows how to create chances like he does. And not sure if anybody noticed, but after that Wolves game, Bruno has officially created the most chances in the Premier League this season with 108 ahead of Trippier at 104 and Kevin De Bruyne at 97. But far too often this season, Bruno has been the band-aid being deployed off the left, off the right, as an 8 instead of Eriksen or a 6 instead of Casemiro, instead of playing in the position where he's best. And while Bruno has done really well in those roles, we lose out on the best of Bruno when he doesn't play in that free number 10 role like he played yesterday, because he just doesn't get on the ball in dangerous areas like he wants to. And against Wolves, he played where he should play, and that's why we looked good as a team. Next, we're going to talk about Christian Eriksen, who we missed for about 2 months because of that horrible tackle by Andy Carroll. And in that time, we saw how much we struggled in getting the ball from the first and second phases of play into the final third, because we really don't have anyone like Eriksen who can drop from the midfield into the backline to play that quarterback role. The only other player is Bruno Fernandes, but like we just discussed, Bruno in the Eriksen role means that we don't have Bruno playing in the Bruno role. So Eriksen also was in that third center back role in possession off the left hand side, which gave us a ton of control when we had the ball. Then we have Luke Shaw, who was deputizing for Lisandro Martinez at left center back for the last few games, and don't get me wrong, he played really well there. But we missed out on his attacking strengths in that left channel because he had to stay further back playing at center back, and we had Malacia trying to replace his attacking duties, which, let's be honest, he's not capable of. And Luke Shaw is not just our best left back, he's our best full back, which means having him in his preferred position makes a big difference on this team. And then we get to the other 4 players out of the 7 that I talked about, which is Antony, Martial, Casemiro, and Rafael Varane. Antony's by far our best right winger based purely on his profile. He's left-footed, he works hard defensively, and he has all the tricks in his book, but he's still inconsistent and frustrates the hell out of everyone. And yet, he had one of his best games in a United shirt yesterday, because he should have had 2 goals and probably 2 assists as well. I think we will see a breakout season from him next season because he's just going to keep improving. Next, we have Anthony Martial, who's arguably our best number 9, not just because of his goal contributions, but because of what he gives the team in possession. He is by far the best at linking up play and making space for our greedy wingers who like to cut inside and shoot more than create for the other players. And he also gives Bruno some help in midfield by making clever runs to spaces that other players just don't make. Then we have Casemiro, who does so much defensively that I don't even want to say anything here because you should know why he's important in that number 6 role by now. And finally, Mr. Rolls-Royce Varane himself. This guy is probably one of the most underrated center backs of his generation because he played in the shadows of Ramos at Madrid, but he mops up everything aerially and shows some crazy composure on the ball under pressure. I think he had 5 out of 7 aerial duels won yesterday. He was absolutely immense. And despite that being his first game in over a month, he looked rock solid throughout, and him locking down that right center back spot is basically the reason that we've been so good defensively this season. Who knows where we'd be if Maguire played all the minutes that Varane did. So these 7 players playing in their preferred positions was a big reason why we look so good. And when you have 7 out of your 10 outfield players playing really well where they're most comfortable, the other 3 players automatically have good games. Now, before you guys get on my back for leaving out Wan-Bissaka and Lindelof from this list, I want to clarify my point. These 7 players that I just mentioned have either played out of position or been out due to injury at various points during the season. And this has negatively impacted how we play because someone else has to take their position and it completely changes how we play as a team. And don't get me wrong, Wan-Bissaka and Lindelof have been top 3 or top 5 performers in this team since they've been playing, but my point is that they've done it in their usual positions at right back or center back. And that's the only reason I didn't include them in that list of 7 players. Now that we understand Ten Hag's tactics for this game and our reliance on certain players playing in their preferred positions, let's talk about why United have dropped 8 points from our last 5 games. So here are the minutes played by Man City's squad this season in all competitions. They have 18 players who have played more than 1,000 minutes this season. 15 of those 18 have played more than 2,000 minutes. 9 of those 18 have played more than 3,000 minutes, and only 2 players are over 4,000 minutes with Ederson and Rodri. And now here are the numbers played by Man United squad in all competitions this season. We have 22 players who have played more than 1,000 minutes this season. 15 of those 22 have played more than 2,000. 8 of those 22 have played more than 3,000. And 3 players are over 4,000 minutes with De Gea, Bruno, and Rashford. And this is where the problems start to come in. We have 2 attacking players playing more than 4,000 minutes, whereas the Man City players who have played that many minutes are Rodri in defensive midfield and Ederson in goal. We have players like Malacia and Fred playing more than 2,000 minutes when they wouldn't get those minutes at Man City. We have a Jadon Sancho who we paid over 70 million for playing just 2,000 minutes and giving us just 6 goals. Then we have someone like Weghorst playing 1,600 minutes in basically just half a season, and Sabitzer with 1,000 minutes in approximately the same time frame. The story that I see from these numbers is that we as a squad are over-reliant on our starting 11, and our depth falls off a cliff as soon as one of them is injured or rested. As a result, Ten Hag has basically been forced to overplay 8 or 9 key players throughout the season till they either get injured or are forced to be rested, and then Ten Hag has to make do with subpar players off the bench. So obviously, this has led to physical fatigue for our best players who have taken on massive tolls on their bodies as the season has progressed, but it's also led to mental fatigue for our best players as the season has progressed. Because the minute that a Casemiro or an Eriksen or a Luke Shaw is missing from the team because of injury or they're being rested, all other 10 players on the pitch, specifically players like Bruno, Rashford, Lisandro Martinez, Casemiro, have to work 10 to 20% harder to make up for that lack of quality. And this has plagued United all season to the point where our best players are just not allowed to have a bad game under any circumstances. They just have to play the perfect game every game, or else United lose or draw games that we're supposed to win. And I think this mental fatigue has gone under the radar a little this season, and it's a huge problem that United needs to address in the summer. We have to buy at least a starting striker, a starting midfielder to play next to Casemiro, a backup midfielder for Bruno, and a high quality backup right center back. Let's see what happens this summer, but I'll cover this in more detail in our season review towards the end of the season. Now, one more topic I want to touch on really quickly before I get onto my life update is Alejandro Garnacho. Is he going to be the next big star in European football? And I'm not just talking, 10 goals and assists a season, but I'm actually talking 40 goals and assists a season. I'm serious, this guy has everything in his game. He can shoot and pass with both feet. He's the first left winger that I can remember in a long time that can both cut inside and go on the outside with relative ease. He's also shown that he reads the game well enough to consistently make the right pass so he can easily get double-digit assists and goals in every season. And with that goal yesterday, he showed me a level of composure that I've rarely seen from an 18-year-old before. This season, he's already scored 2 goals that have gone in from the inside of the post. Against Leeds, he scored off the inside of the left post after giving Meslier the eyes to go to the far post. And yesterday, he gave Darren Bentley the eyes to score off the inside of the right post after giving the eyes to go the opposite way. He is really something special, man, and I have faith in Ten Hag to get the best out of him. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think that he's going to be a big star, or is he just going to be another flash in the pan? Okay. So I have been radio silent for the last 11 days when United have played 2 games, and I haven't uploaded a video for any of those games like I usually do. And trust me, it has nothing to do with United losing both games against West Ham and Brighton, because we've been here after losses to Sevilla, Newcastle, Liverpool, and Arsenal. But about 2 weeks ago, I picked up additional responsibilities in my professional life, and for that reason, I haven't been able to give as much attention to the channel as I would have liked to. For those of you guys worrying about my health or mental well-being, don't worry about it. There's absolutely nothing wrong. I simply just did not have the time or energy to make, edit, and upload the videos like I usually do. I just needed some time to organize my life a little better before I start uploading again. And I want to give you guys a little sneak peek into my video making process, because it takes me about 6 to 10 hours to write the script, record, edit, and upload most videos. And that doesn't even include necessarily the time spent watching the game. Previously, I used to spend nights and weekends to make this happen, but with my current schedule, I don't think this will be possible anymore. However, I will keep creating the content because I love doing this more than anything else, and I'm proud of the community that we've been able to establish over the last 6 months or so. So what does this mean about future videos? I will probably turn to a slightly different format for midweek games, where I'm more focused on just a few key talking points and the videos are shorter, it'll probably be more of a match reaction type video than the detailed tactical analysis that I've been doing for the last few months. But there's a benefit there, right? I can get those videos out a lot quicker, probably an hour or two after the game ends. Games on weekends will still follow the usual longer format videos, but they might be a little bit shorter than they have been before. I know it's not ideal, and I want to apologize to you guys for going AWOL in the last 2 weeks, but I hope you will stick around and keep tuning into the channel to enjoy the analysis that I put up, and we can continue growing the community. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.